Hey look, this is a fun little game in the French. It's not too long, it's less than 20 moves, but it's got a very interesting checkmating problem at the end. One that I failed and that I'm going to pose to you to see if you can solve. Alright, let's go. So this is the French defense, e4, e6. So what I'm doing at the moment is I used to play the French, and it's positional, and it's got a dull reputation. Okay, so what I tried to do is I tried to play gambit lines, again giving up my f pawn, and there's a few ways that this can happen. So this is the approach, this is the normal variation, and basically, if black takes on e4, which is not uncommon, then you can offer up your f3 pawn, which is some kind of double-barreled gambit name. Okay, and that's not what happened in the game. So you offer your f3 pawn, and they'll grab it again, then you bring out your knight. So you've got a semi-open f-file, you've got a knight developed, you've got a lead in development, and so on and so forth, like the way I like to play. In this game, black plays a slightly unusual bishop b4. I don't know, it might be normal. I never really played it in the French. I'd have thought that c5 is more common, but he's getting his bishop out anyway. So maybe it makes sense. Maybe I've played it a bunch of times. I don't know, can't remember. So I kick the bishop, or put the question to the bishop to say, what is your intention, Mr. Bishop? Do you want to take the knight, or are you just, fiddling with me? Well, he takes the knight, and I recapture. So this is a pawn structure I'm very, very familiar with as a Vienna player. Okay, so I'm trying to steer the game towards what I'm familiar with and what I'm comfortable with and where I know the patterns. So now he takes here. And you can see what I'm doing here, and what I'm starting to do more in my game is reuse components from other systems. Right? So here, f3, and he takes, and I take back with the knight. Okay, and now I have all the development. Right? I've got reasonable control in the center. My bishops are ready to fly out. My king is getting ready to castle. Black's got nothing. All he's got is one pawn, slightly forward. So he brings out a knight. Okay, and now bishop d3 makes a lot of sense, targeting down on here. Also getting ready to castle the king. He castles, so do I. I've got my rook on the semi-open file. Odd looking c6. He's just taken a square away from his knight, but I'm guessing he wants to put his knight here to reinforce that knight. Because one of the plans, you start to be thinking about, what's my opponent going to try and do if he's going to checkmate me, right? Well, my opponent wants to get their queen here, supported by this guy. Now that is currently defended by the knight, so if white can eliminate this knight, for example, knight here, get the queen somewhere looking at this pawn, right? And then, boom, sack the rook, game over, okay? Or offer the rook sacrifice anyway. So, and it's not a bad plan when you're in that kind of situation to reinforce your knight with another knight by moving it sideways instead of all the way forwards. Now queen e1. What is this move? Well, this is another move that I've recycled from a different opening, from the Sicilian Grand Prix. Now, in the Sicilian Grand Prix, you've usually got pawns up here, or at least here, that you're trying to, push forwards. But the idea is that you move your queen here after castling, queen here, and then use your bishops and your pawns and your knight in a very similar way. It's just that there's no kind of pawn on f4 or e4 right now, right? But what I want to do is I want to get my queen here, and I want to deliver checkmate there after eliminating the knight. So far, so good. Black does play the knight to d7. So he's reinforcing this one. He's like, well, you can take my knight. I'll just recapture with my other knight because I have a spare horse. Right, so bring out the bishop to g5, pin the knight. Okay, and now he moves his queen here. So I'm thinking, well, what about maybe something like this? Could try and eliminate this knight, and then it can't replace this knight, okay? But before that, I play queen h4. That's the point of queen to e1. Queen h4, it's not in line with any bishops, it's out of trouble, and it's now gunning down on there. So all I need to do is eliminate this knight twice, really, kill both knights, and then I can just dance in and checkmate. Okay, it's not how it happens in the game. Black kind of blinks here and pushes g6. I'm not sure about this move. Not sure it's a great move, but at least it's stopping this bishop, right? But I have two bishops, one of each color, which is handy. Okay, now, rook a to e1. So I'm just thinking about, I just want to get more control of the board. I don't care about all this junk over here. You can have that, you can keep that. It's just going to distract you from what's really going on. So maybe ideas like this. Knight in here to eliminate this knight. Okay. And if he takes, I can take that with a pawn, attack this knight. But, you know, it's just good to have my rook over that side where the action is. Now he moves his knight out the way. Weird. But he's still got both knights looking at this. And now, instead of a light squared attack, obviously I'm thinking about a dark squared attack. But both knights are still defending this square. What I'd love to do is put my bishop there, queen there, and then it's unstoppable, mate. There's nothing you can do about it, right? I can't put my bishop there, can I? So maybe here c4 might have been a plan. Don't know. Maybe. So I bring my knight into e5 anyway. I want to eliminate... If I can eliminate this knight, right, then I might have options. Knight takes, pawn takes. Now defended by the rook, so the queen can't just take the pawn, because if the queen could take the pawn, she could dive in there and look after her husband. And now the very, very weird king to g7. And now, after my next move, my opponent actually resigns. White is plus 15 here. White has forced checkmate in 6 moves. And can you work it out? I didn't. I played the wrong move. Well, let's just say I played the wrong move order. So have a pause, right? Make a brew if you need to, and see if you can figure out how white can force the win. So first I'll show you what I played. Right? I played bishop to here with check. Now, and black actually resigned. I don't know if it's a resignable position, because here knight can take. But then, I don't know, we've got, I guess, pawn takes with check. The king then has to retreat. Then the queen's going to come in. So I'm guessing he thought that was unplayable. But I'm not sure, well, certainly not according to the machine. Anyway, so here's what I should have done. Instead of this move, I should have played queen h6 first. And the importance of that is that it forces the king away from the defense of this. Okay? Because after I played this, he can simply take, right? And now my queen, oh no, because he's in check now. Check now, he has to go back. Anyway, weirdo. So apparently that wasn't the move. Queen here first, then king, it doesn't matter where the king goes back, right? Now I put my bishop in there and threaten mate. So this is now forced, and then I recapture with a knight. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I don't see quite how that's different to what we were doing. Because it's not like he can move the rook away, because it's still checkmate. So what's wrong with my approach? What's wrong with this one? Let's have a look. There, this is forced. Well, it's either that or it's knight takes. So king goes back, queen comes in, then we take the bishop, then yeah, I can't see how that's really different, to be honest. So let's check the game review, because I'd like to check that. Now, so this is my mistake, it says at the end. Bishop f6 is a mistake. I missed an opportunity to force checkmate. Because knight takes, pawn takes, yeah. King in the corner. Oh, with king in the corner. Okay, he's got queen check. Can throw in a check. But that lets him do rook here. Interesting. Now, how is that different if I do this? There, king in the corner. Boom. Wow. So he can't go in the corner. Fascinating stuff, right? But with this move, knight takes, bang, king in the corner, queen comes up here, and my queen can't deliver, mate, right? All he has to do now is move this, for example. All right, queen b6 check, whatever, you know. And now the rook's defended by the other rook, and he lives to fight another day. Still says mate in 7, but... oh, hang on. Oh, no. No, he has to play rook here first. Yeah, there you go. But it's still apparently mate in 9, so go figure. But yeah, I thought I'd share that with you. I hope you find that useful. Nice little checkmating puzzle. And it's just another pattern, you know, that has to go into the old memory banks, isn't it? Right, that's it then. Thanks for watching. See you later.